Hello everyone, Phantom here from Phantom Reaper, and here we are with part 5 of What If Deku was Kamen Rider Buffa. Now, before we begin a few things I want to clear up. 1. Make sure you watch the first 2 videos, actually the first 4 videos before jumping into this, as the first 2 explain the rules of this series. 2nd, thank you all for taking the time to click on these videos and watch them, and I'm really glad, and it makes me real happy. 3, and this one is regarding some things. I realized I never explained why I do these fanfic series, and if I did, I forgot, so I'll give a refresher. I noticed a lack of Kamen Rider X My Hero Academia content, which is weird because it is a really good source. Like, think about it. True hero Kamen Riders, basically people without superpowers, unless you're talking about the supernatural ones, meet world with natural superpowers. It's a gold mine, and it's a shame now a lot of fanfics get past chapter 5, which is a shame. The only one that's gone up past chapter 5 and is still going to this day is the Deno one, and that's pretty good, but I haven't finished it because I kind of got confused with the introduction of it. Anyways, just me rambling. And 4th is regarding how I'm gonna handle the other Kamen Rider series What If ones. After I'm finished with Buffa, I'm gonna be doing Wizard next. I haven't seen Gotcha yet, so I'm gonna have to do that. And I also haven't seen Wizard, so yeah. I'm gonna probably watch the first 5 episodes to get a basic understanding of the series. But regarding the Wizard one, I'm gonna focus less on the academy and more on Wizard themselves in this world. But that's just a rough draft. And that's for characters for what if they were in My Hero Academia. For situations where it's what if Deku was blank, it's more likely or not gonna be a reincarnation situation. But if it's what if Deku became Kamen Rider, I don't know, Potato. God damn it. Then yeah, he will become it later on. There are some rules on how I'm gonna handle these fanfics. 1, I have to decide on one of the following situations. Am I gonna have Izuku be a villain, a vigilante, or go to the academia? Those are 2 things I need to consider, because unless I'm doing a villain, I can't really be sure. And regarding if he gets all for one, no. Just no. Why? And another thing, I won't be giving Deku the power of multiple riders. You know, in some fanfics where they bring a character over and all of a sudden they have the powers of every single Kamen Rider. I don't like when that happens. I just like, hey, could you stick to a show or series and just use the powers from there? I mean, I don't mind if, for example, you do Ryuki and only use the card decks from Ryuki. That's fine, but if you bring in something like the Phi suits and stuff like that, it just feels like, oh, random ass. Sorry, it just wanted to rant. So yeah, just wanted to rant a bit before we start this. And yeah. Also, I really kind of wish I didn't rush the All for One fight yesterday. Not yesterday, last time. And if I knew I was gonna do it, I would have made the cover reflect that. But it doesn't, so. And what can you do about it? Anyways, let's begin in 3, 2, 1. So last we left off, Buffa has just killed All for One. I could have handled that whole scenario a lot better, but it's all in the past. If I ever do something like Geats or Tycoon, I'll make it better. Either way. So yeah, All for One is now in space. And we cut to a press conference that happened a few days after the whole scenario, where All Might officially announces that he's retiring. But it's sort of more on a it's more of a positive note, seeing as the biggest threat to the MHA universe is just gone, and the League of Villains basically have nothing. Like, he's a lot less sad. Like, he wishes he can do more, but he can't. Of course, that conference also served to talk about Buffa more. And in that conference, Nezu, Detective Tsubasa, Endeavor, and a bunch of the other heroes on the scene are there. And when the questioning begins, one reporter announces, "What do you believe is this Kamen Rider Buffa's quirk?" And Nezu speaks up, saying, "We believe he does not have a quirk. Or at least I do." This sort of stops all the chattering, yelling, all that reporter stuff. And everyone just looks at Nezu. He's just sitting there smiling, that cheeky bastard. Isn't it that's not possible. With all the videos online showing what he's capable of, you at least think he has a quirk. No. I do not believe he has one, as stated by Eraserhead's testimony when he tried to erase his quirk. It could be we're dealing with someone who's using a support item. Does he really have a quirk? We may not know. We would need to ask him ourselves. Next question. What was the villain that All Might and the heroes were facing? Well, that villain's name is All for One. And he's been an enemy of heroes for a long time, and was responsible for killing my master. He had the power to take quirks, and is responsible for creating the Nomos, or at least funding it. Another question. What do you believe Kamen Rider Buffa was doing on the scene of this fight? We don't even know ourselves. Apparently he just teleports when he wants to. Maybe that's his quirk. But what we do know is, he went after the most dangerous villain in the world. One so secret, not even I knew about. And managed to do what the number one hero couldn't. Endeavor said, giving a side-eye to All Might. He tried all his life to be the number one hero, and now it's just being given to him, and he's just quite mad. Another question. Is Kamen Rider Buffa a villain or a hero in the eyes of the Hero Commission? This time the president speaks up. As far as the law states, using a quirk to perform vigilantism is still a crime, no matter the intent. We also believe that Kamen Rider Buffa has been linked to the murders of Trunk and many other pro-heroes, with the only confirmed one being Native, as he was there when Stain killed him. What will the Heroes Commission do about Kamen Rider Buffa? We will arrest him and bring him in with criminal charges. He may have done some good, but that doesn't excuse the crimes he has committed. The maintenance still goes on, but then we cut to Michi's apartment, and he's watching this going, bunch of hypocrites. And he just randomly stumbled upon the interview. Like, he wasn't even paying attention, but He's more focused on trying to gain more points. And just as he's about to go and grab something or go to the bathroom, he hears something. Something all too familiar. Looks like little Michi's a hero. Without even hesitating, Michi puts on his buckle and activates zombie. And instantly heads to the source of the voice. And there she is. The one who's caused him a lot of suffering. The one who enjoyed his pain. Beroba, the sponsor of the Yamatos in his past life. Holding his poison chainsaw at her neck, as Buffa glares at this monster. Is that how you greet all your friends? What? You're supposed to be dead! Oh, I am. I just came back to haunt you. Ooh. You can't punch a ghost, Michi. Bleh. Trying to find something to release his anger on, Michi grabs the nearest throwable thing he can and just throws it at a wall. What do you want? Obvious. Make you suffer. Get out. Nope. I said get out or what? I'm a ghost. You can't hurt me. But I'll leave you with some advice. Let's just say the Yamatos are gonna be here very soon. Michi's eyes widen at that comment. Quickly turning, he sees that Beroba's gone. You want something from her, she leaves. But when you don't want to see her, she just shows up. Oh god, this is so annoying. Buffa then decides to clean up the mess he made after that whole anger thing. And then he sees a box that he doesn't remember. He picks it up, opens it, and sees the quirk erasing bullets. I forgot about these. You know, now that I think about it, I should probably find out where these came from. Could be useful taking down heroes. So he decides to go on patrol earlier than usual. Granted, he isn't going in his armor yet. He's just gonna wait a bit, then do it. And he just walks around. Nothing really interesting happens. And then when it comes time to do his nightly patrol, he quickly ducks in an I'm keeping that in an alleyway. And then goes on his patrol. During that patrol, he stopped 3 criminals, injured a pro hero badly, and got a cat out of the trees, which surprisingly counts as points. And he's sitting on a rooftop at the moment, thinking about what to do, when all of a sudden, he's now binded by branches. He quickly turns his head and sees Kamui Woods. I finally found you, Kamen Rider. I let you go the first time thinking you wouldn't be a problem. But it turns out, you are the embodiment of evil. It was kind of cliche. Silence! Now I will take you to the station, where you will, during this entire process of me taking you to the station, remain silent and not do anything. I am being very specific and simple with my words. Let me think about it. No. Quickly, Buffa uses what? You know, I'm just gonna call it zombie chainsaw. To break the vines, because he still had it in his hand. And Kamen tries his best to try and bite him again, but Buffa isn't gonna let that happen so easily. But the problem for Buffa is Kamui is quick and he's not. So they're kind of in a stalemate, where Kamui activate using his special move, Lucrous Cage. It does stall Buffa for a bit, but he ends up breaking out again. And he tries his best to get some hits in, but he just can't hit Kamui Woods, who is quite fast for him. So he decides to switch strategies and try using Fever. Just had to put that pause there for the audio and future me. So he spins it and gets Construction. Now, I don't remember Buffa ever using Construction in the series, so he's gonna be like, this is new. And he tries to fight with it, but since he's just very unfamiliar with it, he's basically just using what he has as a club. So he decides to try again and gets Mace. Now, while it's slow, it does pack quite a punch and can attack from range, while also causing property damage with every time he misses Kamui Woods. And he only gets one good hit in before he decides to switch again. And Kamui himself, he's just struggling to sort of adapt to these sudden changes in Buffa's fighting style. But he's still managing to do so well. Besides, he's not alone. And just when Buffa's about to get his new thing, a giant hand comes by and just grabs him. Well, that was easy. We've had trouble with this guy? Buffa turns to see the giant head of Mount Lady. Well, he is strong, and most of the time, the heroes who faced him were solo. But he's not a match for us. He sees the source of the voice, Deaf Arms. And now, that was a good distraction, Kamui. You managed to hold him off pretty well. Yes, I at least redeemed myself. I swear to God, when I get out of here, I will. Buffa stops struggling because he thinks he sees something. Something familiar. And no, it's not Geets. He isn't gonna show up. Maybe in a crossover, but no. He realized what it is and goes, "Hey! Look behind you two! There's someone coming!" Both Kamui and Death Arms were like, "You really expect us to fall for that?" No, he's right. There's some strange rubber thing behind you. With the backup from my lady, the two reluctantly turn and see a Yamano. This just the moment it's spotted, it just quickly hides behind satellite dish and acting very cartoonish like, because that's what I remember the Yamatos acting like. They were very dramatic boys. What on earth is that? Doesn't look like a hero. Most likely a villain. Alright, come out! And before Death Arms can get to him, the Yamato quickly pulls out a belt and the Yamato driver, before adding them and becoming the Yamato rider thing. Buffa goes, You get out of here, that thing's dangerous! You, quiet! Death Arms, let's deal with this thing. Now, if you guys have seen the series, you would know the Yamato riders, as I like to call them, are very strong. They can even shoot vines. Don't believe me? Look at what happened to Tycoon. He got dragged. And so that's what happens. the Yamato quickly uses its vine thing to grab Death Arms and just toss him into a nearby water tank. Death Arms! And Kamui, in that moment, just gets pummeled by the Yamato. Mad Lady tries to squash him, but that thing is quite tricky. But in her moment, she didn't realize that Buffa had escaped. And it was too late. It was already too late. He was gone. Oh no. And the Yamato itself can't really do much against the Mount Lady, but it is causing problems for the other two heroes. And she's trying her best not to damage the building they're on. She doesn't want to pay for that. And just when it looks like this will be a very tough fight, Buffa just comes in with poison, zombie equipped, and just starts fighting it. You all need to get out of here! I fought these things before. Let me tell you, they're dangerous. You think we're just gonna trust? Do you wanna die? Death Arms and it's not Death Arms. Kamui looks around and realizes if Death Arms doesn't get to a hospital, he could suffer some permanent injuries. Mount Lady, take Death Arms to a hospital. I'll stay here. Mount Lady reluctantly agrees, quickly grabs Death Arms and starts running. And Kamui goes into his earpiece and calls for backup, but it won't be there for another while. In the meantime, he decides to assist Buffa because he clearly knows more about these things than anyone else. And while Buffa is fighting against the Yamato, he's sort of having flashes to the Grand Desire Pre and all he did. And just when the Yamato is about to try its vine trick, Kamui just comes in with a giant branch to bind it and just toss it into the same water tank as Death Arms. Thanks. No worries, but what is that thing? They're a Yamato. Don't really know much about them. What I do know is they're not human. So don't need to hold back. And so this is the fight. No, wait, that fight already started a few minutes ago. Anyways, so the Yamato itself is getting a bit overwhelmed. And Buffa and Kamui are handling it pretty easily. But then another one shows up. There's another one? There's always more than one. At least it's not one of those end final bosses. What? Don't worry about it. This one also has a Yamato driver. And then also begins fighting. Both Kamui and Buffa separate the two of them. And Buffa quickly changes to the Commando or Charge, whatever it was called. Just so he can get access to Kamen, which should do heavy damage, as we know. Now, while he's doing that, Kamui's dealing with the already injured Yamato, because Buffa went after the healthy one. Now, both of them are plant-based heroes, so there's not really much I can see happening other than Kamui just getting a bit creative. And Buffa, meanwhile, tries to get a full charge, but the Yamato, realizing what he's trying to do, is doing is just running goofily, like one of those, you know how in those cartoons or like fights in the cartoon, where there's just that one guy running away from a scary guy who's holding his weapon above. And then he slips and falls, and, cartoon like shit going. And it goes on like this for a while, until backup arrives. Unfortunately, that backup is Endeavor, who's less than happy to see Buffa, and even more less happy to see just these two people who are quite powerful struggling with what he considers a bunch of Saturday morning villains. Why are you struggling against them? Here, let me show you how a hero does it. He quickly throws a huge ball of fire at the Yamato that Buffa is fighting, which Buffa is also calling the crossfire. The Yamato, took heavy damage, and Buffa, he got flung off the building, effectively taking him out of the fight. Damn it, I gotta get out of here. And luckily he's almost able to, due to the fact that Endeavor and Kamui Woods are distracted by the Yamatos. However, he ends up running into Red Crocodile. Noticing the burn marks Buffa has, he quickly just mumbles to himself, Endeavor did this again. Before he gets into a fighting stance. And Buffa does as well. He quickly charges at Red Crocodile, thinking he needs to end this fast. He tries to swing his chainsaw at it, but as we all know, Red Crocodile is one tough motherfucker. And so he's able to block it and just swings him into a building. And Buffa is too injured, but if we know anything, he's stubborn. And zombie can keep people alive for longer if you overuse it. Why do you Why can't I remember the voices I do? I'll give him a more noble, growly voice. Why must you insist on fighting? Please surrender. And face the punishment that you have acquired for yourself. Oh yeah, if only you knew. This comic gets a eyebrow raised from Red Crocodile. And just before Michi does another attack, a Yamato buckle falls on him, his head. Ow! He quickly picks it up, and just before he's about to use it, he stops. Red Crocodile, kind of gets confused, thinking, why did he stop? And Michi thinks, is he really gonna use this? Is he really gonna do the same thing and let Tinkies did before and possibly prove Beruba right? No. He's changed. So he quickly throws the buckle onto the ground and just stomps on it. And he quickly and I just remembered he had charged equip, not zombie buckle, I apologize. So any mention of chainsaws after charge do not count. And so he activates charge, and instead of using Kamen, he goes with Jet. Now, Red Crocodile has been studying the Buffa case and knows that if he picked Kamen, he would have done massive damage to him. But surprisingly, Buffa just leaves. This stuns Red Crocodile. He left. How intriguing. Before he can linger on that thought any longer, the fight between the Yamatos and the heroes kind of escalated a bit more. So, Red Crocodile went to support. We cut to the next day at that same building where a news reporter is given their piece. I am standing right here where the fight last night took place between the Kamen Rider Buffa, the pro heroes, and these monsters. The official name for them has not been revealed to the public, but they do possess similar abilities to this Kamen Rider Buffa with these belts they wear. An official statement and investigation will be held tomorrow. Well, after the assessing all the damages that happened, the news report is then shut off, and we cut back to Michi, who was patching himself up from being literally burnt alive, while also having to deal with Baraba's annoyance. You think you're Oh, I see how it is. My little gift wasn't good enough for you. Bleh. Stupid Michi, you're stupid. I want to see you suffer. I'm gonna make you wish you were never born. Shut up, you old hag. I am not old, I am young! And Baraba just quickly disappears. Michi thinks to himself, am I having those hallucinations again? Because if you don't know in the show, if you haven't watched Kamen Rider Geats, in which case, why are you watching this? I recommend watching that first. But Michi will often hallucinate about his dead best friend, who is often encouraging him to do his actions as a way for him to justify what he's doing. So yeah. And he's currently sitting, then trying to rest up, but then Stain's walkie-talkie had to go off, and he quickly answers it. Mushy mushy. I wish I'd taken them out sooner. This hurts so much. I can imagine. Endeavor's quite a powerful hero, but he's also a fake. An abusive father and husband. Responsible for a quirk marriage. Quirk marriage? You're not familiar with it? No, I'm not. Well, you see, it's a marriage held with the main end goal of combining both parents' quirks into one. It's an ill practice. And the number 2 or number 1 hero's son, Shoto Todoroki, apparently is their success in his masterpiece, although he refuses to use his fire side. I mean, I can understand. Didn't have a great relationship with my dad. Oh, I've been meaning to let you know. I saw what you did to her. All for one. Quite impressive thinking. To be honest, it felt too easy. Most likely. He has multiple quirks after all. He most likely has one that probably made it look like he was gone for good. Either way, I'll let you rest up. I could recommend you a pharmacy I saw. I'm planning to go to one. Alright, so we're gonna cut to at least 2 weeks later. Michi is out to try and find some leads on the quirkery some bullets. He so far isn't having the very best of luck, until he comes across another deal going on. But between villains this time. And this time he sees people with some bird masks on. So, you got the stuff? Yes, we did. Now I assume you have what we asked for as well. Oh, of course! Don't know why you need this stuff. Figured you guys wanted money. Well, just give us the goods. We want them. Alright then. Pleasure doing business with you gentlemen. The pleasure's all ours. Kind of easy to get those stuff when you know a few people. Either way, see you around. Buffa, watching this transaction, thinks for a moment. Alright, most likely, it was either just drugs or the quirk or some bullets. However, they didn't want money, which means they are in desperate need of materials. As he's looking, he notices that the briefcase has some bits of plants on it. And he's thinking to himself, that's odd. So he decides to tail them for a bit. But they get into a car, and then it gets lost in traffic, so he's like, okay. So he decides to call in a favor. Stain?
Well, if it isn't my ally, what do you need?
I'm investigating the quirk erasing bullets.
Oh, a detective now, are you?
It's just something doesn't seem right. Whatever it's going on, it looks like they need stuff instead of money.
What makes you say that?
Because I overheard a drug deal going on between them. I was wondering if you can, if not, you know.
You're struggling to ask.
I don't really like asking people for anything, but fine. Look, keep an eye out for anything. But if you notice any plant-like things near the suitcase or near those people, contact me immediately.
Very well. Anything else I should know about?
Yeah, bird masks. That's what the dealers wear.
Ah, very well. Also, is this whole plant thing based on what happened with the rooftop attack?
Stain stays silent for a moment before giving his answer. I believe an enemy of mine is returning. I can't let them come back.
Alright then. I'll inform you of anything.
Beep! Buffa then decides to continue on with his patrol. Anyways, we cut to Nezu in his office, observing the Yamato case. And he's quite curious. It seems that these creatures use the same belt as this Kamen Rider Buffa. I do wish I could get into contact with him and ask him more questions, as it seems like from testimony that he is against them. I think I have a solution. Buffa is just chilling in his apartment when suddenly an emergency broadcast comes online. This is a message for the Kamen Rider Buffa. I wish to speak with you. Please respond by answering this number. Buffa thinking, okay, this is obviously a trap. There's gonna be a lot of people trying to contact them. So he decides not to. But then it starts getting more taunting. Will you not answer? I didn't expect you to be such a coward. Buffa tries his best to ignore it, but the taunts keep going up and up and up until he finally decides to make a call. And the classic Kamen Rider style, it's just dramatic and all that. Moshi Moshi. I can't believe you fell for that. What? Oh, you did not know? I only broadcast that to one TV at a time. To think you would answer it. How do you know I'm not this Kamen Rider? That is a fair point, but I do want to ask you something, if you are in that case. What were those creatures that this supposed Kamen Rider Buffa that you're supposed to be fought? It could be vital information, a potential alliance. You took a big risk with this. Well, if you prove to be him, I won't let anyone know. You can trust me. Even if I was, I wouldn't trust you. Just before Nezu can reply, Here's what sounds like a walkie-talkie. I believe you should pick that up. Alright, I'm gonna put you on hold. Hello, Stain, what is it?
Buffa, I seem to have tracked down and more of those bird mask fellows. They were at a meeting with the League of Villains when it got dicey. But I noticed more of those weird monsters, especially one with 2 heads. Figured you want to know.
Buffa's eyes widen at this. He clearly remembers fighting against that Yamato general. It was a pain, let me tell you all. Alright, thank you. Listen, I swear, if you rat me out, I will personally find you and make you suffer. But I just got an update, and it seems like we're in much more trouble than we realize. Ah, so you finally admit it. Well, what is this trouble? There's a Yamato general present. Is that what they're called? The basic ones, yes, but the generals have a more unique look. Specifically, this one is fast, can shoot needle missiles, has a sword, and it's very dangerous. It's able to see 2 places at once. When I fought against it, we had to kick a can to make sure it couldn't get powered up from the souls it absorbed. It sounds quite dangerous. Yeah, it is. Well, do you know who's responsible for these? 'Cause I do not remember these things existing. I can't say for sure, but what I do know is they're associated with these Quirker racing bullets I found on Elf Trunk. Oh, he had those now. Yeah, apparently he did a drug deal with some people. And I decided to investigate for later on when I had the chance to. Michi didn't want to admit he forgot. And the common thing is, they had bird masks, the dealers. But they wanted materials and not money. So do you think they could be making these? Are they like normals? No. Think of them as a Saturday morning cartoon grunt. But they have gimmicks attached to them when needed, but they can get stronger. And especially with a driver, they're dangerous. Well, I'd like to keep in touch for now. So if you ever wish to talk to me or you find out something new, please do not be afraid to contact me. Alright. Before Michi can hang up, he gets a notification from the system. And he realizes, oh, should have checked to see that there was something in the shop. He does, but there isn't really much going on in the shop at the moment. Mainly because I can't think of anything. But he sees a notification. Stop the Yakuza. Excuse me? Excuse me? Are you okay? Yeah. Hey, is there anything planned in a few days? Like a raid of some sort? Not to my knowledge, no. Why? Let me know. I'm gonna have to be there, if need be. Very well then. I will inform you. But I do hope we can meet face to face, as I cannot seem to track down where your IP is or who you are. I figured you would have been able to. Yes, I wish I could. But some things prevented me. Either way, I wish you the best of luck and continue investigations. But may I ask, why did you need to kill Elf Trunk? He was a corrupt hero, and I want to get rid of all of them. But your testimony... Every hero is gonna meet my wrath. The fakes, evil ones will die. Everyone else will get injured. Nothing more, nothing less. You sound like you don't even understand yourself. Did he have the audacity to hang up on me? Well, world domination is always looking very fruitful now every day. Okay, before I continue, it looks like this video will be going into overtime. And there may be some parts where I slip up here and there, and just want to remind you, I am not a professional with this kind of thing. But I will try to make this entertaining and enjoyable. So far we just have to deal with that and then that. Yeah, we have 2 arc points, I'm just checking my notes. Anyways, let's continue. Buffa, the next day, is just out doing some shopping because he's realized his fridge is nearly empty. So he's just going to buy some stuff. But that's when he notices what looks like a hero and a small girl talking to each other. And the hero's like, "Hey, are you okay? Is there anything wrong?" And the girl's just has bandages and looks in the hospital. And you know who it is. It's Ari and Mirio. Now, Buffa decides to keep his distance for a bit. But that's when he sees a man with a bird mask come by. "Excuse me, my daughter, blah 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 blah." I am not voicing overhaul. Hell yet. He can't really hear what's going on, but he knows one thing's for certain. He's most likely, he is definitely associated with those bird drug dealers. And Michi is just watching this. He's just watching Mirio let this guy take his doll away. And Michi just quickly runs, but by the time he reaches them, they're already long gone. Mirio's kind of confused and, "Oh, hello there! How shut up. Couldn't you see that girl was hurt?" "Well, you see, if this is heroes, the world is doomed." Mirio, kind of hurt by his words, goes, oh, okay. Hey, still smiling. But before he can ask any further questions, Buffa has already left. And he's now preparing for the next few days for the raid on the Yakuza. But while Michi was planning on using what he already had, seeing the little girl in the state that he was reminded him too much of his old home. So he may or may have not purchased a boost buckle, which cut into his points heavily. But he didn't really care. In fact, he was going all out. He bought Monster. He bought Beats. Actually, no way, he didn't. No. He bought Monster. He bought Monster, and and that was just about it. And when the day finally arrives, actually, the day before, Michi gets a call from Nezu, who was saved his number. "Hello, Kamen Rider Buffa. I assume you're willing to listen to this request I have." "Let me guess. You want me to join you on this raid?" "We already agreed on that, did we not? However, I also would like you to educate the heroes about the threats that will come. You are the most familiar." "Oh, that is definitely not the most obvious trap I ever seen." Bravo! Bravo! "Oh, it will be on voice call. Just join this link I have sent you." "Okay then. Anything else I should know?" "No, the raid will be tomorrow. That's it." "Okay. Quick question though. Do you know who the leader is?" "I believe his name is Overhaul. Why do you ask?" "What does he look like? Does he wear a green coat, purple buff, like that?" "Quite an accurate description. Yes, why? I'm killing that son of a bitch. Oh, did you two know each other? It's on a need to know basis, and you do not need to know. Okay, see you in an hour for the voice call. Alright, so we cut to the press conference that Sir Night-Eye would have held talking about Overhaul and stuff. And all the heroes are there. And Nezu is also there as well. Now, Principal Nezu, I believe you had something to say. Yes. But first, allow me to activate this for a moment. He quickly presses a few buttons, and an image appears with the logo of the Kamen Rider Buffa. And one of the heroes goes, "Oh wait! He's working with them?" "No, you idiots. I'm providing you information. That's all." The crowd grasps, and quite a few of them are angry, going, "You dare show your face around here? Unacceptable! You're a monster. Why would we ever need stuff from you? Can we trust him?" But Red Crocodile, who is there, why am I including him so much, goes, "Let's hear him out, at least." Right. Thank you, Red Crocodile. Buffa, would you please? Very well. As you all know from these images you've seen, these were monsters that were in the incident a few weeks back. They are called the Yamatos. Normally they're pretty childish, but can be serious when needed. However, they can get stronger over time if necessary. Some of them have a driver, and also are equipped with the Yamato buckle, which allows them to gain access to its abilities. I'm sure some heroes here have already faced it, but that's not what's important right now. A contact of mine informed me that a Yamato general is also present. Specifically this one, and apologies if the drawing's not good. I didn't go to art school if any of you were asking. This one is able to shoot high velocity spikes, while also being able to move fast and deal heavy damage, with or without its sword. Its two heads allow it to see in multiple directions. While I don't know if it has its can or not, if it does, we're in trouble. Last time I fought it, it was incredibly difficult. I wasn't even able to beat it, but an ally of mine was. Can't believe I said that. However, any souls it gains will be in that can, and when it drinks it, it will grow in power and size. To defeat it, you need to kick it out of a certain area, but I'm not sure if that rule will apply anymore. Not at least. You sound quite hesitant. Are you sure we can trust you? Let's just say one thing. I want Overhaul dead. And this is for personal reasons. Not with your heroes, not with any villains. This is just between me and him. Now, I don't know if any other Yamato generals are there, but what I do know is, if there are, they're gonna be a tough fight for all of you. Unlike these no moves. You will all see me in the raid soon. However, if any of you try to stop me or arrest me before I've completed my goals or after, I will make sure you feel pain. Quickly, as soon as he finished the sentence, Michi left the call. Kind of leaving everyone stunned, but they decide to go over what they've learned so far. Alright, we cut to the day of the raid. Michi has his buckles ready. And he's starting off with monster this time instead of zombie. And he also has a boost buckle ready for when needed. And he also brought Twin Commando, Command Twin, Zombie, and Fever if necessary. While the smaller buckles are also there. The only one he brought with him was Drill, because he didn't think he'd need the water one. As for Magnum, he decided to leave that one in the house. As soon as it begins, Michi's system notifies him that he's being teleported. Now he's teleported into a random area. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very familiar with the whole overhaul arc, so apologies if I get some things mistaken. But I do know Ryuk is there. And she's a literal fucking dragon. She's awesome. We need more Ryuk. More Ryuk. More Ryuk. More Ryuk. Oh my god! I just realized if I did a Kamen Rider Ryuki series, she definitely is gonna be there. Hell, I could even make her a Kamen Rider. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Right now, he's seeing Ryuki and Nemori dealing with a bunch of Yamanos. They quickly see him and notice the weird monster thing. Nemori quickly goes up to him after they dealt with it. Goes, "Oh hi, are you Kamen Rider Buffa? That's a nice thing you did. Isn't it adorable? What does it do?" And Michi just goes, "Where is Overhaul?" Oh, Mirio's fighting them. Well then, can you point me in direction? Oh yeah, sure, that way. Arigato. Quickly, Michi begins running. Ryuk didn't really do anything because she's more focused on dealing with this whole thing. She wasn't really familiar with the Kamen Rider Buffa situation, but she didn't know about his buckle thing. But she was surprised about the fact that quickly Michi just goes left, delivers a left-right hook to a bunch of Yamano. And then as soon as he gets further, he sees what looks like the Yamato general. Alright, this is payback time. And before he can react, the Yamato general speaks to him. I thought you would crush all the Kamen Riders. Michi hesitates. He sees the image of his dead friend. His old pal, the one whose death inspired, caused him to go down the path he did. And the Yamano, thinking he's stunned him, quickly rushes to him and is about to deal a finishing blow. But Michi activates Monster and punches him through several walls, saying, "You're not worth my time," and quickly begins running into where he hears fighting. And as soon as he arrives, we cut to the aftermath of the Overhaul versus Mirio fight. Mirio, who wasn't informed about Buffa, quickly sees it and goes, "You think you can... Eri, get behind me!" But before Eri could do anything, Michi just runs up to him, activates Monster, and says, "You're dead!" Overhaul was also shocked, because he did not expect Buffa to be there. But he also didn't expect him to be able to punch with the force of 1,000 gorillas. He's able to punch him through several walls. Mirio, confused, asks, "Wait, aren't you here to take us out? Aren't you working with him?" He goes, "I'm after that bastard for one reason." "You. What's your name?" Mirio quickly gets in the defensive stance. "You think you can just hurt Eri? No, I won't let you use her like how Overhaul used those quirk erasing bullets." Michi flinches. "What? You didn't know?" "You mean to tell me he's using a child for these things?" Michi quickly takes out the quirk erasing bullets. "These things? These were you made by a child? How? Answer me!" Eri quickly hides behind Mirio. Mirio, still in his defensive stand, goes, "You're scaring her." I knew. I had a feeling things were bad. But this? What did he do? Simple. I reconstructed her after killing her to make these bullets. Buffa turns his head with clear intent to murder this man. Overhaul, now with more of his subordinates' parts, goes, I thought you would consider working for us. After all, you want to get rid of this rotten society. You want to get rid of these curses. Michi quickly grabbing the box he has, and noticing that Mirio had a bullet in it, quickly realizes, I see you have what looks like my earlier products. Don't worry, you'll get... Ow! Did you just throw that at me? That's it. You're dead. Michi quickly takes out Monster Buckle, swapping it with Zombie and Boost.
Set. Duel on. Zombie. And Boost. Ready. Fight.
Just quickly needed to put that in there for sound effects. Michi quickly charges at Overhaul, activating Poison Charge. Now Overhaul ain't no pushover, he is tough. But Michi has the anger of a man who saw his friend die. So while Overhaul would be able to overpower him, Michi's just too stubborn. Mirio, watching this, quickly realizes that Buffa got angry because of what he heard happen to Eri. He quickly thinks, guess you're not such a bad guy. Before he can continue on his talk, Buffa goes, take the kid and get out of here. I'll deal with this bastard. You think you can stop me? Her quirk is a curse, and I will get rid of it. The only curse I see is a deadbeat father! Ah, my arm! You are a vermin! And you are a devil! Oh my god, I'm popping off. Michi activates another poison charge, and then another, and another. And he quickly activates Revolve On, which both Eri and Mirio sees. Before they leave. One also activates the Grey artifact so he can perform a Rider kick. Or Rider flurry of punches. Overhaul, still standing strong, is not giving up so easily. He quickly uses his quirk to reconstruct the ground into various stone spikes. Realizing this, Michi quickly swaps over to Monster so he can start punching them. But this gives Overhaul enough time to land a devastating blow on Michi, as he wasn't able to touch him fully yet. This knocks Michi far, but still determined, he activates Monster to deliver another devastating punch. However, Overhaul, expecting this, had set up traps, quickly causing Michi to be immobilized for a bit. However, backup arrives in the form of Fat Gum and Kirishima, along with... Oh wait, no, Tetsu wasn't there. Oh man, I wanted to use Tetsu. Both Fat Gum and Kirishima see Buffa, and Kirishima's like, what's he doing here? Fat Gum goes, apparently he's working with us. Hey, are you okay? Leave it. I'm fine. Leave Overhaul to me. Kirishima, very concerned about Buffa, goes, hang on, you're heavily injured. It may seem manly to... That man tortured his daughter for what? A cure for a cursed society? I don't think so. Michi activates his finisher with Monster and Boost. And Overhaul, reinforcing himself with some scattered debris, is able to minimize the damage a bit, but is still flung out of the building. Kirishima for a second, goes,
So manly.
before seeing Buffa about to collapse. Hey, are you okay? No, I'm not done. Michi quickly takes out the monster buckle, and the boost buckle's time is finished, and just flies away, and then just bounces off Fekkum. Wow! Do they always do that? Just that one. He quickly takes out Twin Commando and equips it. Damn it, I wish I was using this earlier. I could have charged it. Fat Gum, hearing this, goes,
Oh wait, that's the one you used on that big villain.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're not done with Overhaul yet. Quickly, Michi sees some Yamatos and goes, Right, some charge. Not realizing what Buffa meant, both Kirishima and Fat Gum were confused until they saw the Yamatos and Michi frantically slashing them down. And just before he can get his thing fully charged, Overhaul appears in his kaiju form and launches a powerful attack, causing a lot of spikes to come out from the ground. Michi, Fagum, and Kirishima are knocked backwards. And why do I keep calling him Michi when he's in Buffa form? Buffa looks up to this and goes, I thought I've seen everything, but this takes the cake. Now, just before he tries to, injure himself to activate charge, Kirishima quickly runs up to him saying, Hey man, don't do it! What do you mean don't do it? I need to charge this.
Hold on, how does that work?
I need to use this. I need to hit stuff.
Oh, well hit me!
What?
Hit me! My quirk allows me to become hardened. Hardened, like rock hard. Like rocks. Just do it.
Alright.
I thought that wouldn't hurt.
Alright. Thanks to Kirishima's noble sacrifice.
I'm not dead.
God, I could still hear his voice. So manly. Buffa is able to charge Commando up, and then activates. He has Jet on the top and Cannon at the bottom. And he just tries to fly up with Jet, but Overhaul is not letting this happen. He uses his quirk to create a lot of stone spikes to try and throw him off balance. And this actually does end up helping Overhaul in the long run. Because Buffa can't really get close to him. The other heroes are there, trying their best to minimize any damage and deal with some of the Yamatos. While some of them go off to try and deal with Overhaul, they're not doing so great. Buffa tries his best to at least try to get a good hit, but due to the constant attacks and very smart mind that Overhaul has, he doesn't really have a good chance to swap to Cannon to deal massive damage. But he does think of another idea, but it would require him to get close, and he's currently struggling with that, as is. But thankfully, some backup arrives in the form of Kirishima, who was injured but now is not. He recovered quickly. He then quickly runs over the Overhaul, and this is where we find out who inherited All for One. I gave it to Kirishima. What can I say? I like the guy. He quickly activates it and uses it to launch a devastating punch. Now, how One for All works, in at least my MHA what ifs, is that it enhances the user's quirk, but also locks the previous user's quirks. With Kirishima, it allows him to, do what Hardening did, but at a much grander scale, and it gives him the ability to do counterattack damage. So Overhaul, trying to attack Hiroshima, and inadvertently activates counter, and Kirishima launches a devastating punch at Overhaul, staggering him. Buffa goes, huh, that kid's not bad. Then seeing an opportunity, he realizes if he goes for Overhaul's body, he can possibly take him out of that form and end this fight right here, right now. So quickly, Buffa uses the cannons mode, which basically allows him to propel himself, to launch him at very high speeds. Overhaul, seeing this, quickly tries to set up some more walls, but due to Kirishima's interference, he's able to deal with most of them. But there's still one left, and Overhaul, being quite cocky, thinks there's no way he's getting past this. But then Buffa lifts his legs and is able to kick apart the stone wall, and then performs a rider kick. Now, it connects with Overhaul's face, and it's so powerful, it starts dragging the kaiju form across the ground, like imagine a superhero grabbing someone, and then just moving them across the ground at very high speeds. Yeah, something like that. And Overhaul isn't able to hold his kaiju form for much long and quickly separates from his minions, but is still being dragged to the point where blood starts coming out. Now Buffa quickly performs a bicycle kick, launching Overhaul into the air. He then quickly switches to cannon and fires a huge barrage at him. Overhaul, still somewhat standing, is quickly falling down. But Buffa's not done. He wants Overhaul to suffer. So he quickly takes his command buckle out and switches back to zombie, quickly charging at Overhaul's fallen body and activates poison charge and cuts right through his arms. This attack, while also cutting off Overhaul's arms, launches him into a nearby building, effectively winning the battle for the heroes. Michi quickly collapses to the ground, using chainsaw to hold himself up.
Hey man, you okay?
Michi quickly sees Kirishima running up to him.
You don't look so good. Look, wait here, I'm gonna call. No, I'm not trusting you damn heroes. Hey man, I know it might seem manly to you, but I'm very concerned. You'll just take me away.
Well, you got that right. Oh, Kirishima and Buffa look up to see a bunch of heroes coming across them. Buffa, trying to move, tries to get up, but is still too heavily injured.
Hey man!
Kamen Rider Buffa, for your crimes of vigilantism, working with the hero killer Stain, and interfering with hero matters, and also the potential murders of our fellow heroes, you are hereby under arrest. If you come quietly,
oh, you damn heroes. If only you all knew how. I'm not going anywhere.
Just before things can escalate, both Mirio and Eri show up.
Hey, Buffa!
Mirio quickly runs up to him, checking him.
You good? I should be asking you that. You got shot by one of those quick racing bullets. Yeah. It's unfortunately a more permanent one. You don't know that. It could wear off soon. Or in probably months. Well, those are quite some encouraging words. I may have not been able to save 1 million people, but I'm glad I saved one. One.
Buffa quickly turns to see Eri, who's still quite nervous, then slowly approaches him. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Buffa collapses onto the ground via exhaustion. Both Kirishima, Mirio, and Eri think he's died and try to wake him up. But Fat Gum comes along and goes,
Looks like he passed out. I mean, makes sense. From what I heard, he was really angry. Hey, what's gonna happen to him? Well, normally we would have to arrest him.
but fortunately for the rider, the principal of UA wants to meet him. But the group turns to see Red Crocodile. With a few bruises, but he'll manage. I can only hope that it's beneficial for both parties. Buffa doesn't know how long he's been out for, but he does know what was happening while he was knocked out. He was seeing some old memories. He's realized to himself that not even he knows what he wants. He wants to crush all the heroes, but at the same time, he doesn't really do that. At the same time, he's inconsistent. He doesn't even know himself. He then asks himself, what do I really want?
I've been through this before. I should know what I want.
However, Michi then begins to notice that he's waking up. And then he then notices an unfamiliar roof. He thinks he might be in the hospital. He quickly gets up and goes, oh god!
Now hold on there, Sonny. You've been taking quite the beating. It's a miracle you even survived.
Michi quickly turns to see a very small old lady with a giant syringe for a cane.
Recovery girl. That's who I am.
Where am I? Did you damn heroes take me to the station?
No, luckily for you, that principal of ours, Nezu, wanted to meet with you. Although, I wish you'd take off that armor. I can't treat your injuries.
You weren't able to take it off?
When I tried to, it wouldn't let me. I don't know what quirk you have, but it is quite strange.
Just then, the doors open, revealing Mirio, Principal Nezu, Aizawa, and Eri. Buffa tries to go into a defensive stance, but Nezu quickly calms him down. Do not worry, we're not here to arrest you. I just wish to have a chat with you.
Nezu, I don't think this is what.
It's fine. Hey kid, I never got your name.
Oh.
Eri just realizes that he's talking to her, and she then proceeds to introduce us.
My name is Eri.
Eri. Well, you don't have to worry about that man overhaul. Believe me, I know what it's like to deal with a monster that you have to call father.
Wow, trauma! Oh, by the way, thank you for your help. Mirio. That's my name.
So, did the effects wear off?
Unfortunately, no. And also, more unfortunate news. My mentor had died.
So what now?
Well, I'm gonna have to take some time off to think for myself. And recover a bit. But I'll be back.
Okay. You got... Might I ask what you would... Might I ask something? Buffa quickly turns to see Aizawa. Oh, I remember you. Yeah. Desmond, I want to ask you about your quirk.
Well, I'm also curious about that as well.
Oh, I don't have one. The whole room goes silent.
It seems like my theory was correct.
So what you're telling me is you don't have a quirk. Nope. All the powers come from this here. This desire driver, as it's called.
Quite an interesting name. Do you know who made it for you? I would like to get...
No.
Okay then. Now, Kamen Rider Buffa, I understand that you have committed some crimes here and there. Vigilantism, some assisting with a murder, much more. But I can also see that you don't want to be a reckless villain. And also, due to the fact you never even used a quirk, you cannot technically be arrested for vigilantism.
So what? Am I free to go or what?
Well, before that, do you mind if I can ask you more about this elf trunk?
You're very keen on that.
Indeed. And also how you found out about these quirkeries and bullets.
Michi quickly realizes that Eri is very uncomfortable upon hearing those. Hey, you're scaring the kid.
Oh, my apologies.
Michi gets up from the bed, still injured, but quickly walks to Eri. You okay, Eri?
My quirk is a curse. Why are you concerned?
I know it's like to have to deal with a terrible parent. More specifically, a terrible father. He quickly puts his hand on her shoulder and goes, "Don't worry. If that monster comes back, I'll make sure he can never harm you again."
Thank you. Thank you, Papa. Wow! You just became a dad! You don't like it?
I'm not that old.
Ah, yes, I'd like to ask you about that as well, but more importantly, how would you feel about joining you?
No. I don't want to be a student here. I don't want to have to deal with any of this. Because there is someone here who I want dead.
Is it a fellow student?
Yeah.
Well, please do not let me know. I would like to find that out myself. And also, I was not offering you a student position. I was offering to make you a teacher.
What? Nezu, are you sure this is a good idea?
Oh, come on. It's gonna be fun.
Is that it?
Yes, and also Buffa has something that a lot of us lack. The drive to be able to do stuff that no one else can.
Meaning?
The ability to kill someone who is a bastard.
Let me guess. You didn't like Elf Trunk?
Oh, on the contrary, I hated him so much I wanted to make his entire species extinct.
That is one scary... What are you?
Well, I could be a mouse, a dog, or a bear, but I'm the principal. So, what do you say? Of course, you'll be under supervision, and you will also have to live in accommodations.
Okay, but what about Eri?
Yes, it seems like she's already developed an attachment to you, and both Aizawa and Mirio. So you will all have to take care of her.
At least I can be a better parent than my dad. Alright. I'm in.
Splendid. Oh, you might want to take off your armor though. It does seem to be getting in the way of Recovery Girl healing.
Alright. Michi quickly dehensions, and everyone's shocked to see how young he is. You mean to tell me, a person the same age as my students was able to cause this much problems? Yeah, what about it? I'd like to see their reactions to this. Aizawa said with a giant smile. And so we're gonna leave this what if here. Now, I decided to make Michi go the redeem the hero assistant teacher route for now, but if worst comes to worst, I may revert on it in some way or another. But I kind of want to experiment with this part and see how this goes. Now, this has gotta be the longest I've recorded for one part. And I hope you all enjoyed it. And I believe I had some words I wanted to say, but I can't really remember it. Alright, yeah. I might hold a Q&A later after I finish this series so you guys can ask questions going forward. Now, whether you guys want that or not, I don't know. But either way, I'll see you around. Peace!